Hello, hello, hello. Happy Boxing Day, everyone. How is everyone doing? Good morning, Sterling. I hope everyone had a wonderful Christmas weekend. Also, Merry Christmas, Anissa. Good morning, Patrick. Is that a new photo next to you? Looks like it. It's a car now. You got to give me more information. How is everyone doing? Hope everyone had a wonderful holiday weekend, whether you celebrate Christmas or just enjoyed an extended weekend. Yeah, MasterCard US retail sales grew about 3.1% on a year over year basis. But what was inflation? Think about that. That's not inflation adjusted. So that's where it gets interesting. See, the numbers only mean anything if you adjust for inflation. All right. So, what's this week look like? I don't know if I will be doing a webinar every day this week. We shall see. But you'll have to stay tuned. Thank you for at least tuning in today. Going to be lower viewership, I imagine. There's just not much going on in the markets. Today we had the Chicago Fed National Activity Index, very minor. We have some home price stuff that's already coming out, and Dallas Fed Manufacturing Index at 9:30 Central, and then your bill and note auctions. Good morning, options 22. That's your first car, 72 Challenger. Still have it. Wow. You still have it. That's very, very cool. So, 72 Challenger. All right. That's the way to start off the week. Wednesday, we have Richmond Fed, Dallas Fed, Red Book. So, another minor day with the regional indices. Thursday, we have jobless claims. EIA numbers, because of the holiday on Monday, they're shifted from Wednesday to Thursday. But the jobless claims are still the same. And then you have pending home sales. Friday, Chicago PMI, and that's it. And then remember, New Year's next Monday. So for equities will be closed, but futures will still be on a limited trading schedule. So end of week. Now, a lot of funds might have to rebalance to the sell side, selling some stuff based off this rally going into the end of the year. So just keep your eyes out for that. There might have to be some rebalancing with selling. So I wouldn't say there's a guaranteed rally for this week. So just keep that in mind. And just, again, this is a week that's generally a lot lighter trading. A lot of traders off because they're fully focused coming back in the new year. So junior traders running the desks. That's what I want to say about that. Oil is up today. Oil and the oil stocks, energy stocks are up. Mega caps pretty mixed. Intel's popping up decently, 2.16%. On your groups, pretty much everything positive except industrials that are neutral. Energy leading at 58 basis points. Fed Watch still has, remember our next meeting is end of January, last day of January. So it's still a pause, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cuts. 6 cuts starting with March, a 74% for March still. That's what's priced in. We are in extreme greed mode also. We are at cycle tops. And here's our busy week of earnings. There is nothing. Nothing. So that makes it easy. Nothing for earnings this week. Hey, well, Pap, it went below zero. It actually traded negative. Coco's still alive. Coco says, fly me to the moon. All right. We still are a weekly cycle. Oops, I don't want Tesla. I hope everybody caught the Percent Beat webinar who watched on demand too. Hope that was informative. Weekly cycle still pinned at the top. Very overbought, very overextended. We still on the daily have a potential double top. Would need a close below 47.34.25 to trigger against the daily rotation zone, so it falls in the lower probability. But that would take us potentially back to the weekly rotation zone, which we have not touched in a number of weeks. Very large stretch on this. So the key support would be 4670 to 4700 for even a ordinary pullback on that, which would definitely take us out of cycle tops. We are getting to cycle bottoms right now on the daily, but if it pushes up, this double will not be invalidated unless it can really push above this 4852 area. So, good morning, Heinrich. That's what we're looking at now. No, low liquidity crude days are not fun. I think you meant that in jest. I don't like low liquidity days, period. But what else are we looking at? Let's take a look at the levels. I'm still utilizing the harmonics, which we stalled out at the 87.5. So that's 4820 area. Then minor extension harmonic from before 4823 and then 4830. Breaking above that, you have 4841 and then major double cluster at this 4853 area. To the downside, is this technically, yes, it's technically a mini double top. I'd use the conservative targets, which would be on the other side, but we don't know where that would be. And so if this, let's say that was the top, I'd flip it around. We'll just use that and I'll extend them up if I need to. 48, it closed below 48, 47, 84, 75. First target, 47, roughly 70. 47.62, 47.54.50. So that's the bearish moves with the targets. There is major support at this 47.88 to 47.90 area. So if it did close below that and at least a 4-hour close, then I'd watch for the continuing pullback. But that would still be within the range. Now, the only way that extends is then we get the close below 47.43.25. Good morning, Richard. Check. What is that? Check ZOM. 3M. Could you just type that in again, dark screen? What you want me to specifically check? By the way, on the NASDAQ, technically, I would just use this. I would not use the double targets. If it closed below this base at 16,896, roughly you're looking at some targets of, I just use your still harmonics, but it would pretty much be the full target of retracing the move down to about the 16,800. That's the full target I'd use. And I just use a stop lowering in there. Other than that, stalled out the 87.5 harmonic, making up this two-top pattern where it topped out before. If that breaks through, you got the high, retest the high, 17,073.50, then 17,129, then major cluster around 17,184, 175 to 185. If it closed then below, this is still a technical daily double top. This is still technically a daily double top. If it closed below this 16,758.50, 16,630, 16,574, 16,503. On a weekly basis, still pinned to the top with cycles and overextended, and that other larger daily double would not even take it back to the rotation zone potentially. ZOM 3-month chart. All right, we'll take a look at it. Dow. Dow's actually one of the least interesting things to me this week. It'd be more than that. I'd be looking at the NASDAQ and the S&P first. But targets are pretty easy. 37,860, 37,934, 38,12. Above there, this would be where I'd use the short-term reverse harmonics. And next key major target 38,168. If we close below 37,390, 37,146, 37,024, 36,902, and that doesn't even take it back to the weekly rotation zone. Don't need to keep repeating myself with all these cycles at the top for the weeklies. Russell still trying to climb up, holding up here. There's no great topping pattern in here yet, unless it did get below 1996. All right, the breakout levels, if it can break above Friday's highs, 2079, 2088 are the next targets higher. That's where that sits. Other than that, I'd use your harmonics from the lows of Friday the 15th to last week's highs, with the key level on any sell-off being 2032 on a pullback basis. Then on a closing basis, if it drops through there, 2022.5. The VIX, little gappy up today, but not much. I'll get more interested to the short side if we start getting above 1435. If we pull back, key support 1330. Other than that, still a little more elevated going to the last week after our major quarterly options expiration, but those are the key levels I'm still looking at there. The DAX, come on DAX. There we go. The DAX is turning into just a mess up here. So we start breaking below 16.8. Very key level is 16,670, and then roughly about 16,590 to 16,6. To the upside, I'd still be using the shorter term harmonics and still be watching on a closing basis 16,972 for any continued push higher. Nothing going on at the notes really. This is just another mess. Key areas to 113.19 to 113.20, 26. Other than that, support that I'm watching is about 112.07. We break down below there. We could be into a clear path move, but the target would be about 111.15 from my perspective. The yield, watching for it to start trying to carve out a better bottoming pattern, but not quite there yet. Key resistance is 395. If it did break above there, I'd watch for a return to 4 rather quickly. The 10-2's yield curve still stuck in the range down here. Nothing to do. Still watching to see if we get another bear steepening before we can get overly bearish. Dollar index still stuck at Friday. We hit that 75 retracement. If we do start breaking below 101.04, pretty quick trip to 100.08 for the 87.5 rule. But it's got some waning momentum down here with some very oversold conditions. On any bounce, though, your key resistance is about 101.50 to 101.60. But there's not a major bottoming pattern. And people should know now from watching percent B what the percent B setups are. So there you go. Crude, keep an eye on this. Again, lower liquidity, but watch 75.14. This was a very key resistance area between 74.86 and 75.14, which we're breaking up above. It needs to continue and hold there on a close for me, but the next target areas are about 76.50 and then possibly about 77.80, 77.60, 77.80. This is no longer a potential double. You can see that here. There is no well-formed double. It's actually breaking out from a multi-top base. Natty gas pulling back, but nothing great there. Gold, nothing really to talk about here. Support on any pullbacks 2050. Still watch the harmonics to the upside. What else do we have? Yen, just keeping an eye here to see if this other double does trigger. This double. Okay, but that's the only thing that would shift it from the spot being bearish, not the futures. Remember, futures trade inverse. Euro US dollar. Again, I was watching for the break above this 110 area, which we got the close above it on Friday. So far, minimal follow through, but 110.68 is the target. Key support coming back. First target is back at that one on any pullback is 110. Then we got about 109.65. And this still, we're just going to take this double off. It's gotten to be a mess, and it's not probably going to trigger and still be a valid double. Pound, not much to talk about there. Let's get to spiders. So looking to gap up this morning, 474.18 versus 473.65. So any first target would be 473.65 to the downside. You have a valid double top. It's lopsided, so and it's against the rotation zone, so lower probability, but watch out. This would be a great level for a trailing stop. 467.82 would be a fantastic level. 463.78, 461.76, 459.75, and that doesn't even take it back to the weekly rotation zone. But this would be a very key area to watch. All right. Again, if on any bearish stuff this morning would be to the gap fill 473.63, and then I'd still just use the prior harmonics that we have here. I'd use about 471.85, 470.85, 469.85 would be my targets if it broke down. To the upside, going to go off this extended area right here. It's a stronger pause from the last run up. Okay. And we're going to go above 475.90, 478.71 to 479.98. So let me get to the Qs. Then we'll take a look at a couple other charts. Same thing here. We got a mini lopsided double. Needs a close below 402.90. Fantastic from a trailing stop perspective. 399.12, 397.22, 395.33. Right now, minor gap up. 409.32 is where we're heading to the open. 408.38 on the gap fill, and the same thing applies. What I talked about, I'd use the still the harmonics on pullbacks. 407.63, 406.68 is minor, 406.65, 406.68, then 405.75, then 404.80, and then possibly the breakdown. Tesla, still no close above the 62.5. That's been very key resistance to 57.31. So still watching for that. Other than that, your minor support coming in right around 249. NVIDIA, not much to talk about there. Let's get to some of these others. What else do we have? ZOM, three-month chart. A 3-month chart. You want a 3-month. What, there's a double bottom. Well, this would not be a double bottom because it's not reversing the move. And if you're coming in here, zooming in here, looking at here, let me just go down to a regular 1-month chart. No, you don't have anything. Your key area it really has to break above on a closing basis is 0.275. All right, that's really it for Zomedica. What else do we have? ANSS. It's a pretty strong gap up. What's the news out on this? Huh. Looks like it's an acquisition target potentially. Let's take a look at the longer. All right, so let's take a look. I just use, so it's already gapping up just above the 75. So the next key target, I don't know if it's acquisition target, I'd have to look at the price because that's going to be key. But separate from the price, you'd have to tell me, I mean, is the price right around 364, 365 area for the takeover? If it did get through there, 386.43, but it's going to be the takeover price, the acquisition price that really matters the most. But the 87.5 is 386.43. So that is the key, and key support 345. But if it's an acquisition, you know, that's going to be dominating. That's how it's going to trade as a takeover candidate. It will be interesting if it does get back above 80. I agree, Charles. HG weekly, so you want copper on the weekly basis. Let me just check one thing. Just let me check one thing. All right. It's valid. Let me see what some targets on here. If copper were to break out, it's trading. There's been a major resistance, so it needs a close, really. It needs a close above this 394 area. You get a follow through. If there's any intraday break with a follow through close, see, it's been very key resistance, and that's the 50% harmonic. Then it'd be 404. And then it would be about 412 to 414 would be the targets, the upside. The only thing that puts the damper on that is a close below, can't see with this line in the place, a close below 372.90. But any pullback would be 383 long before that level's triggers. So that's exactly how I'd be doing it there. If you want to use something on a stop raise before 404, I would look at $4 even where we had the key reversal. And this looks like an outside reversal day. So that's what I look like there. Good morning, Legion. Yeah, thank you. Acquisition price is 400. So thank you. It's always helpful when you put in more information. So I'd use 386.43, and then it would be the 400. But I'd put, if you're trading it to the long side, it's not going to go full price right away. So I'd really be focused on that 386 to about 390 area if the acquisition is going to continue to go through. Okay? Yeah, it's still a potential buyout. So that's where really the key area I'd focus on. All right, headed into the open. Let me just see what's going on. All right. Very key support in the open is about 48.06. That's even from overnight trading when the futures reopened last night, and the breakout area is about 48.15. So those are the key ones I will be watching going into the open. With that, hope everyone has a wonderful trading day. Thank you for tuning in on this slower trading week, and I shall talk to everyone later. Bye for now.